Yes. Okay, so hi guys.
Hello.
I'm Shola.
I'm Lola.
Oh. We're filming today, and the topic of this video is
gym myths or fitness myths.
Yeah, just certain things that we think we're going to get out of working out and going to the gym that we found not to be true, or in terms of creating the body that we want, and certain things that we're told that are not true. Just want to cover them today and just go over some basics, really.
Yes.
The things you've learned in our kind of fitness journey.
Yes.
Okay.
For me, I would say lose the whole myth that you can kind of lose weight where you want, and like you just go gym, you work out, and the weight, will just just do what it needs to do, like do what you want it to do. And I found that to be a complete lie. You cannot determine where or how you lose weight. And I'm not saying like certain exercises do work for certain areas of the body, but everyone is different. So not everyone will have the same result. Yeah. Yes. So I've had to learn that out the hard way. Like,
I wouldn't say it's the hard way. It's just like trial and error, though.
It's trial and error,
but it can be disappointing.
It can be disappointing. Now, for I'm gonna be honest. For you ladies out there, okay, who's been trying to lose weight, like myself, and we're a little bit more bustier when you started. This applies to you, okay?
Surprise!
Next. Let's move on, please.
No, I think that's really important that you touched on that, because I think a lot of women, when they're in their fitness journey, and some of you don't intend to lose weight. I didn't feel you needed to lose weight, but as a consequence of being fit and working out, you lost weight. And you found, like, I remember my sister would come to me and she'd be like, prostate fit. What prostate fit?
It was mine, and I would like it to come back. So it's playing games.
Oh my days!
But we can move on.
Okay, let's move on.
What would be your gym myth? What is something that you found to be a lie?
So one of the next gym myths that we find is squatting will give you a big butt. Now, some of you might be aware, but there's this thing trending at the moment, big bums. This is, and for me, over the years, I've noticed this trend comes and goes. Like in the 2000s, there was like the size 0. Are you seeing big booty right now? Okay, let her finish.
That big booty, but you got a big booty, break that big booty.
Good? You good?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I do with guys. What was I saying? You made me forget.
Sorry, the big booty being a trend.
Yeah, so I remember during the 2000s, size 0 was the big thing. Like, that was a trend to be a size 0. And then the J-Lo's came, and also there was that period where the J-Lo's came along and the Beyonce's came along, and it seemed popular, it seemed good to have a bum and have a booty, and I think that's returned in a big way. And on Instagram and a lot of social media, you'll see a lot of these big booty Judies, showing their wares, and it's fantastic. I love curves personally, wish I had more, but I just got to work with what I have. So I think that it's great, but I do feel some young girls or some women do look at these trends and do think that somehow they should have it, which is not necessarily the case. I do think that women should own their physique.
Definitely.
And work with what you have.
Definitely.
You are unique. You are exceptionally unique. You are yourself. There's only one you. And I don't think that we all should follow this sort of aesthetic or look where we all have big bums. For those that naturally have big bums, I think that's fantastic. But I don't think that women should just be killing themselves and suffering for a big bum.
What are you doing? Weirdo! Around the booties.
Yeah, the booties. The big booties.
We heard Shola preach about, loving
I wasn't preaching.
Loving yourself.
It's important, ladies, we like ourselves.
Love yourself and work with what you got.
Yeah.
However, luckily there are things you can do for the bottom half that and gives you a fuller look.
Yeah.
But one myth I find is the squat. Now the squat is literally like the miracle workout. Yes. I feel like it's put on the pedestal.
Yeah.
And it's great. trust me, I do squats. We do squats.
I squat all day.
We're squatters.
Yeah.
Squatting helps to keep it lifted.
Nigeria
and
gave us the booty.
And keep...
It did. Nigeria gave us the booty.
Can I land my plane?
And the gym helps us maintain it.
So squatting helps to kind of lift and, you know, keep it perky. And it's great, and I think it works for anyone with a booty to anyone that doesn't. Whatever you have, it will lift and kind of give you the extra dimension and, you know. Yeah. But
fantastic.
It doesn't build a booty. Like if you are looking to increase your behind in size, the squat alone will not do that for you. And I think that's the myth that I hear a lot, because they're like, I squat 100 squats a day. Great. Your legs must be great for it. Because the squat doesn't just work the butt, it does work the legs as well.
It's great for it.
But that's when I think is a big misconception, because it doesn't always give you a butt. In order to, if you don't have a butt and you wanted to gain a butt, you would have to increase your intake in terms of food and lift weight. Now that can create a fuller butt if you don't have any, but that we can talk about in another video.
Yeah.
Let's move on to my third myth. Lifting weights does not mean you will become a masculine
Tell the truth.
bodybuilder.
It won't make you look manly, basically.
No.
Yeah.
I've been on this fitness thing on and off for about a year, and I've realised that lifting weights is probably the best thing you can do, because it not only can help you kind of add some resistance, which in turn can be like cardio. People say that, you know, when you lift weights, you actually burn a lot more calories after you finish than if you were to run. So go check it out. So, you know, I feel like lifting weights does definitely help, and it builds shape and it builds toning, and it kind of gives you that muscle definition.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely another myth that I want to just knock out there.
Yeah, lifting weights doesn't make
we lift weight, and
we lift weight. I used to think that. I was so scared. My partner, who's a gym head, a meathead, he would encourage me to lift weight, and I was like, I don't want to look manly, I don't want to look manly.
No.
But then I realised after I actually did what he said, good looking out, after I did what he said, I actually felt and looked, I felt better about myself. I felt I looked better just from lifting weight and not just relying on cardio alone. I found that I think a lot of people, or the things I was reading, is this whole thing about when I went to the gym initially, when I first started going to the gym, and I really am not a gym person per se. I can work out anywhere. I can work out anywhere, so I'm like, I'm a frugal friend that I am. If you can save your coins, save your coins. So I found that a lot of the women in the gym are just running. You walk in, and if you know where the women are, they're on the treadmill, they're on any cardio machine. And I thought that was the way to go, because you want to look svelte, you want to be slim and whatever, and that's the way to go. But I found that if you're just running, you do lose weight. Hands down. You run enough, you run frequently enough, you will lose weight. Something we call skinny fat, which means that you lose all tone and definition. Your skin, your muscles become really lax and soft, though you're running. And I feel for myself, what works with me is to combine the two. Run, do your cardio, but also lift weights. Also apply weights into your fitness routine, whether it's this weight or like one of those big weights in a squat machine in the gym. Lift weight, because for me what I find is that it helps me build definition and tone, and weights also help me lose fat, especially when burn fat. I mean, especially when I'm lifting heavier weights, I burn a lot of fat. So in moderation, you do look firmer for it, you do look more fit for it, you do look more toned for it. Yeah.
You look great for it.
Look great for it.
Yes.
Weights. Yes. Okay, so what's your next one?